Why is it that some people can like you, say all the right things, and still leave you feeling anxious? Why do some connections make your heart race, but never make your mind feel at peace? And why is it that with certain people, even before anything official happens, something in you starts to settle? That's what I want to talk about today. The 5 things that tend to happen when a man is truly right for you. You've probably had a moment like this before. It's late at night. You keep checking your phone. No text. No explanation. Earlier, he seemed warm and interested. Now he feels far away. And suddenly, your whole mind turns into a detective board. Did I say too much? Was I too available? Is he just busy? Am I overthinking this? Or am I the only one taking this seriously? But here's the thing. When someone is genuinely right for you, they usually do not leave you stuck in that loop for long. I really want to say that clearly. Healthy love does not make you smarter at decoding mixed signals. It makes you less anxious in the first place. A lot of us confuse intensity with destiny. If you feel pulled in right away, if you think about them all day, if one text can make your whole mood rise or crash, it can feel like something huge is happening. Like this must mean something. Like this has to be special. But intensity and compatibility are not the same thing. Sometimes the people who shake you the hardest are not the people who are actually good for you. And sometimes the person who is truly right for you does not feel like a movie. He feels like relief. Not boring. Not flat. Just steady. Safe. Clear. The kind of person who does not drain your nervous system. The kind of person who does not make you earn basic reassurance. I once heard someone say this. The right person is not always the one who makes your heart pound. Sometimes it's the one who lets your body unclench. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Because love is not just chemistry. Love becomes daily life. It becomes how someone shows up. How they handle plans. How they respond when things get awkward. How they act when it's not exciting anymore. That's why the 5 signs we're talking about today are not fantasy signs. They're not mystical clues. They're not about fate in some dramatic, cinematic way. They're about behavior, tone, consistency, emotional safety. The first sign is this. He does not keep you confused for long. This does not mean he has to text back in 30 seconds. People have jobs. People get tired. People have different communication styles. That's not the point. The point is clarity. A busy person can still be clear. A reserved person can still be clear. A nervous person can still be clear. He can say, hey, today's packed, but I'll call you later. He can keep his word. He can make sure you're not constantly wondering where you stand. But someone who keeps you confused usually leaves just enough hope to keep you attached. He comes close, then pulls away. He's affectionate in person, then distant after. He says sweet things, but the relationship never actually moves forward. And if that pattern keeps repeating, that's not some deep romantic mystery. That may simply mean he does not want to be clear. Now, can someone be awkward when they like you? Of course. Can someone be emotionally clumsy and still sincere? Absolutely. But awkward and vague are not the same thing. Someone who is awkward might stumble, but you still feel their effort. Someone who is vague gives you just enough to stay, and not enough to feel secure. If you find yourself studying his tone, rereading his texts, comparing how he acted yesterday to how he acts today, your body is already telling you something. The relationship may be feeding anxiety more than trust. The right man will not turn your heart into a guessing game. He may not be perfect, but he will usually make the relationship feel legible. You can feel where it's going. You don't have to constantly decode it. The second sign is this. His actions are consistent. Because real care shows up most clearly on ordinary days. Anyone can be charming in the beginning. Anyone can plan a nice date. Anyone can stare into your eyes and make you feel chosen for a few hours. That part is easy. What matters is a random Tuesday, a tired evening, a busy week, a moment when there's no excitement to perform. That's where sincerity tends to show itself. Does he still check in? Does he remember what mattered to you? Does he follow through on small things? If you told him you had a hard day, does he ask how it went later? If you mentioned a big meeting or a family issue, does he remember? If you said you wanted to try a place or watch a movie, does he bring it up again? Love is not built on grand speeches. It's built on repetition, on small moments that quietly say, I'm paying attention. And let me be clear here. Consistency is not obsession. It doesn't mean texting all day. It doesn't mean being available every second. It means his care does not disappear every time his mood changes. It means he doesn't act deeply interested only when he's lonely, bored, or in need of attention. Some people are intense, but only in bursts. That can feel flattering at first. But bursts are not the same as steadiness. And steady is what builds trust. The man who is right for you usually has a baseline. A way of showing up that does not collapse every time life gets inconvenient. And when someone has that, something starts to soften in you. You stop feeling like you have to win their attention over and over again. The third sign is this. He makes room for you in his real life. This one matters more than people realize. Some men are warm, present, even affectionate, and when you're together, it feels meaningful. But somehow, outside those moments, you don't exist in the shape of his actual life. You're not part of his future plans. You're not part of his rhythm. You're not really included in the world he lives in. You're just someone he visits emotionally when it suits him. That kind of connection can feel intimate, but it often becomes lonely. Because being wanted in private is not the same as being included in someone's life. A man who is serious about you does not keep you floating at the edge forever. No, this does not mean he has to introduce you to everyone immediately. It doesn't mean rushing labels or forcing some perfect timeline. It just means you begin to show up in the real picture. He starts thinking in terms of we, not just me. He imagines next weekend with you in it. He sees something during his day and wants to share it with you. He naturally begins to create space for you, instead of squeezing you into leftovers. And maybe most importantly, he does not hide you. That matters a lot, because one of the hardest feelings in dating is not rejection. It's ambiguity. It's feeling close when you're together and invisible when you're apart. It's wondering if you matter, while acting like you're okay with less than you need. The right man will not keep you in a permanent waiting room. He will make room for you in the life he's actually living. The fourth sign is this. When things get uncomfortable, he does not disappear. Personally, I think this is one of the biggest signs of all. The early stage can fool anyone. People are often at their best in the beginning. They're attentive, kind, interesting, but the real test comes when friction shows up. A misunderstanding, a hurt feeling, a hard conversation, a difference in needs. That's where character shows. The right person is not someone you never struggle with. The right person is someone who does not run the second things stop feeling easy. A lot of people have experienced this. You say something small. You try to be honest about feeling a little hurt. You're calm. You're respectful. And suddenly, the other person goes cold. Or distant. Or silent. Maybe they say they need space. Maybe they call you dramatic. Maybe they just fade out and leave you sitting in uncertainty. Now yes, people do need time sometimes. That's normal. But emotionally healthy people usually know how to communicate that. They say, I want to talk about this. I just need a little time. They don't punish you with silence. They don't make you feel guilty for having feelings. They don't treat every moment of emotional honesty like a threat. No one handles conflict perfectly. No one. We all get defensive sometimes. We all miss the mark. But what matters is how someone responds after that. Do they take responsibility? Do they try to understand? Do they come back to the conversation? Or do they avoid, deflect, and make you feel like caring is the problem? A man who is truly right for you may not handle every hard moment flawlessly. But he will usually show you that the relationship matters enough to stay in the room. And that changes everything. Because trust is not built when things are easy. It's built when something difficult happens and you realize, okay, he's still here. The fifth sign is this. Around him, you can still be yourself. This one is quiet, but powerful. Of course we all want to impress someone we like. That's human. You want to look good, sound smart, be interesting, be chosen. But as a relationship deepens, some of that pressure should begin to fade. You should start to feel safe enough to have opinions. Safe enough to be tired. Safe enough to say no. Safe enough to not be on all the time. If you constantly feel like you have to perform to keep someone's love, that relationship is already costing you too much. Some people make you shrink. You watch every word. You hide your needs. You soften your truth. You become easier, quieter, more agreeable, just to avoid losing them. And little by little, you start abandoning yourself just to stay connected. But the right person has a different effect. You breathe differently around them. You don't feel the same pressure to prove your worth every 5 minutes. You don't feel like one imperfect moment will make them withdraw. You feel like you can show up as a real person. Not a polished version. Not a strategic version. Just you. And no, that kind of peace is not boring. It's not a lack of passion. It's security. It's emotional safety. And for a lot of people, especially if chaos once felt familiar, that kind of calm can actually feel unfamiliar at first. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes it means healthy. As you've been listening, someone may already be on your mind. Maybe one person came into focus very clearly. Or maybe someone else did, in a harder way. Maybe you suddenly realized who is not right for you. That happens. Because the people who confuse us most are not always the obviously bad ones. Often, they are the almost ones. The ones who were sweet sometimes. The ones who made us laugh. The ones who gave us just enough warmth to keep us hopeful. And that's what makes it hard to let go. We cling to the best moments. We downplay the patterns. We keep telling ourselves that maybe if we're patient enough, clear enough, lovable enough, things will finally become what they almost are. But relationships should not be judged by isolated moments of tenderness. They should be judged by repeated patterns. Not by how high someone can make you feel on a good day, but by who you become in their presence over time. So maybe ask yourself this. Am I becoming more grounded with this person, or more anxious? Do I feel more like myself, or less? Am I loved here, or am I constantly trying to be selected? Those questions matter, because your emotions can be persuasive. But patterns are honest. And one more thing. When we say the right person, that does not have to mean one magical soulmate written in the stars. That's not really the point. A better question is this. Who can actually build a real life with you? Who brings more peace than confusion? Who doesn't make you romanticize pain? Who helps love feel less like survival and more like partnership? That's what really matters. If you've seen someone 3 times, and you're already more confused than connected, pay attention. If you've been talking for weeks, and you still feel like everything depends on guessing right, pay attention. If the relationship keeps asking you to ignore your own needs, just to keep it alive, pay attention. That does not mean you are too much. It may simply mean this is too little. And as painful as that truth can be, it can also set you free. Because false hope can keep people stuck for a very long time. Clarity, even when it stings, gives you your footing back. Love can absolutely shake you. But healthy love should not break your sense of self. Love can be exciting, but real love also lets you exhale. Love can be complicated, but the right relationship does not feel like a one-person battle, where you do all the emotional lifting. If you have to keep abandoning your dignity, just to keep the connection going, that is not destiny. That is imbalance. So maybe stop asking who makes your heart race the hardest. Start asking who treats your heart with the most clarity. Stop asking who says the most beautiful things. Start asking who lives them. Stop asking who creates the most tension. Start asking who creates the most peace. Because in the end, the love that lasts is usually not the love that keeps you on edge. It's the love that helps you feel safe enough to come home to yourself. So if someone is on your mind right now, don't just romanticize the feeling. Look at the pattern. Does he leave you confused for long? Is he consistent? Does he make room for you in his real life? Does he stay when things get uncomfortable? Can you still be yourself around him? If those things are missing again and again, then, no matter how intense it feels, that may not be your person. But if those things are quietly growing, if clarity is building, if peace is building, if trust is building, then even if it doesn't look dramatic, that may be something real. Your person is not the one who keeps making you question your worth. Not the one who keeps you waiting with no shape and no direction. Not the one who pulls you close just to leave you emotionally hungry. Your person is the one who makes your inner world feel less chaotic. The one who brings steadiness to your days. The one who makes love feel less like confusion and more like truth. So don't just listen to the rush in your chest. Listen for the part of you that finally gets to rest. Because maybe that's the real sign you should never ignore.